Hi, I'm Kara. Welcome to Bright Hope Creations. Today we're talking all about packing those Copics for traveling and using them while you travel. So are you thinking of taking your Copics on your next vacation? Good for you. I love to take my Copics with me. It's a great time to color images for projects, and sometimes my techniques just improve from coloring when I'm relaxed on a trip. Are you planning on flying with your Copics? Well, it's completely legal, but if a TSA officer asks you what they are, I like to say they're artist markers. I don't use the word alcohol marker. It's just one of those buzzwords that might detain you, but like I said, it's completely legal. Now, Copic markers contain alcohol. It's housed in a felt sponge inside the barrel, and it's not enough ounces to cause any issues with the TSA. It's not going to drip out. The official Copic website will also have that information to say that it is legal, and so you shouldn't have any issues there. I just refrain from saying alcohol so that it doesn't stop the flow of traffic because they're trying to understand what you're talking about. Now, these are the ink refills. This is the old style bottle, and the new style bottle has, I think, less ink in it, but this is classified as a dangerous item under the Fire Service Act, and therefore it cannot be brought on the plane. The Copic markers react to changes in altitude and air pressure in the airplane, and checked baggage is even more extreme. So I keep them with me in my carry-on in a sealed Ziploc in case it leaks, but I've never had it leak. Well, when you get off the plane and wherever you're going, take the caps off of both sides. That evens out the pressure, and then you shouldn't have any drips while you're using your Copic markers. Do you want to take your Copics on a car trip? Well, if you're driving, just don't use them. But if you are the passenger and you want to use them while you're in the car, I like to do that, then these are all of my Copics. And this is what I would take if I was going for a long time or going to a retreat with card making friends. It's got a handle. I can lay it on its side and see all of my markers. You can see it's one of those picnic caddies, so there's some dividers in there, not as many as I would like. This was my old picnic caddy that I had my Copics in. It's a little smaller, so I outgrew it, but this is what I use when I travel in the car. I will put it down by my feet, and it's sturdy. It's not, nothing's going to get dirty. Sand or water or whatever's on the ground isn't going to mess up anything. And I can put other things besides my Copics in here. So I usually put a pen and pencil, scissors, Copic multiliners, a white gel pen, and a brush tip marker. If I'm going to fussy cut, then I like to color the edges with that. This one's a Prismacolor brush tip marker. And then I select which Copics I want to take with me. I don't take all of them typically. I focus on what I'm going to work on. And so maybe it's hair and skin and fur, or maybe it's flowers. So I can kind of gauge it by that. I also like to bring a clipboard and my Copic marker chart, a scratch piece of paper, and they go nicely in the larger side, and so does my iPad. And if I want to take some paper that I want to color match for a project, then I'll take that pad of paper, put that in there, and then stamped images that I want to color. So I'll talk more about that one later, but I add those in there. And I also have enough room in here if I want to bring my phone and chargers, and this just comes right with me if we're going overnight in a hotel. It just comes right into the hotel room with me. And I like having that water bottle in there because I don't want to always reach down on the floor to grab a marker. So I take a cup and choose the markers that I'm going to use at that moment. Maybe I am coloring leaves, so I pick out my greens and I'll throw them in the cup and put that in the cup holder next to me. and that I'm not bending down and getting car sick because I'm looking for the right marker. So this way I have them available and I have the ones I want right now right next to me. Of course, it's always good to look up and take in the scenery, so it's not always time to color, but when I get to my destination, that's when I probably color more. And this is just a packaging that I had. I think I had Zig Clean Color markers, 12 of them in that package. And so what I do is I pre-stamp my images, and these are the ones I had in this box that I brought with me on my last trip. Some I stamp in the centers or on a corner to use it as the full front of a card, so a 4¼ by 5½ inch card. And some images I just stamp a bunch, and I know I will fussy cut those out. And some I stamp in very light ink so that I can do no line coloring, and then black ink as well. Now this little guy, he's in the corner there, so he's going to look up at something, probably a sentiment. So I just get a little strategic when I decide what I'm going to color while I'm away. And this one was mainly frogs. And I had some masks that I also stamped because sometimes I don't want to color, I just want a fussy cut, and that's a good time to do that. And so with these frogs, this series, I just thought, well, I'll bring a bunch of greens, and that's mostly what I brought on that trip. And you can see I really didn't color a whole lot, but that's the fun of it too. It's there if I want it, and if I don't, it's okay. So this is the background that I did while I was away, and I just took my blues and grays. This is just 2 little stamps, but I drew and colored the rest of it with browns and greens, so you don't have to take all of your Copics with you, kind of decide what you want to bring. This one I chose from the pattern paper. One thing I learned the hard way is I do always want to bring my colorless blender and some gray colors, so some warm grays and some cool grays as well. Here's another one that was based off of pattern paper, and so I knew which colors to bring for that. Now, I have tried coloring poolside while my kids were swimming, and if you're in direct sun, those Copics start getting sticky. So I really suggest coloring in the shade because once your Copics get sticky, you're going to have to change nibs, and it's just a pain. Anyway, I hope that this video is helpful for your next trip, whether it's by plane, train, or automobile. And if you have any suggestions or tips, why don't you put them in the comment section? I would love for you to share those, and I'm sure other people who are watching this would like to know what those are as well. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye!